cricket patron, and I shall be very proud, with a very broad chest and a full face of the bat, be presenting this presentation today. So, on behalf of Oman Cricket, on behalf of the Patron-in-Chief, His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, on behalf of the President, Chairman, board members, the staff of Oman Cricket, welcome to Oman Cricket. I have a virtual background, but I am physically sitting in the premises of the Oman Cricket Academy in Amarat, Muscat, Oman. Let me take you back a little bit. Let me give you a little glimpse of those of you who do not understand why cricket is of prominence. In the global stage of sports, the one particular event that has the maximum viewership on television, on media, is the Football World Cup final. The second one, they say, is the 100 meters Olympic medley final. And the third one is the Cricket World Cup. Just to give you an understanding, approximately 1.6 billion people queued in on watching the World Cup final in the summer of last year, which was played in England at the Lord's Stadium. It just gives you a size and the following of cricket, which not many people understand. Cricket is played in 3 different categories. People understand cricket as being a very slow, boring sport. And to an extent, yes, it is. But cricket is played in 3 different categories. There's a 5-day game called the Test match. There's a 1-day game called the One-Day International. And there is a 20-over game which is played over 3.5 hours, which is called the T20. And these are played just so that people get an appreciation of cricket in the short form, in the not too long form, and then the full form, which is called the Test cricket. So, where do we stand? Oman is a global ranked player in the ODI, which is the 1-day format, and the T20 format, which is the 3.5 hour format. Only 12 countries play the Test matches, and these are the big countries: the Englands, the Indias, the Pakistans, the Sri Lankas, the South Africas, the Australias, etc. But Oman is in the next rank, which is the ODI, the 1-day internationals, which is played across 6.5, 7 hours, and then we play the T20, which is played over 3.5 hours. History of cricket in Oman. Well, it is understood that in the 50s, when the British sailing ships, the naval ships, used to visit Oman and take anchorage in the harbors, they used to come around and say, can we play a game of cricket? So quickly, people who appreciated the cricket from the Banyan community, and more importantly, His Highness Sayyid Abbas bin Faisal, who was our first patron-in-chief cricket in Oman, used to muster up and lead a team against the local players. Now, where did they play that? I understand the first time they played this was in the Makbul Club, which was then the Oman Club, in Muscat, just outside the walls of the city of Muscat, outside the Bab al-Sagir, the small gates of Muscat city. And this is where they played. And then subsequently, they went and played on a bigger ground in Beit al-Falaj, just outside the Beit al-Falaj museum. So in the areas between Darseit and Beit al-Falaj is where cricket was played on a very rough outfield with a koya mat, and they played it on the koya mat. And this is how it progressed, which was an occasional cricket, maybe 4 or 5 games in the whole year, 6 games in the whole year. Until, of course, the Renaissance came in 1970, and we saw a whole influx of people, expatriates coming in, working in Oman and living in Oman. And with this also came a lot of corporates that came in which had interest in cricket. And somewhere in 1975, 76, we formed, so about 6 or 7 teams formed the first cricket league. The Oman Cricket League at that time was formed between 4 or 5 corporates. The National Bank of Oman, the BCCI Bank at that time, the Khimji's cricket team, the Skanska contractors cricket team. So basically contractor-led, company-led teams, bank-led teams played the cricket, and they played amongst each other. Where did they play it? Well, in PDO, in Zahal Mala, in Ras Al Hamra, there was a cricket ground nestled in between the mountains. and we played the cricket over there. It was also a rugby ground. It was also a football ground. But on Fridays, if we took permission and we booked it in advance, we could play cricket over there. We put up a little concrete strip, and all the surrounding area was sand and gravel. And it went on quite well. So in 1979 is when we established Oman Cricket Association, Oman Cricket Club, as it was called at the time. And in 1979, with the advent of about 30-odd corporate teams, we formed the Oman Cricket Club. Last year, we celebrated 40 years of cricket, glorious cricket in Oman. And very proud of it, very proud of the achievements. And what you see at the back is just the testament of what we've achieved so far in terms of physical infrastructure. But there is so much that has been done in the soft infrastructure in terms of recognition, in terms of bringing Oman into the global limelight as far as cricket is concerned. So that's the basic history of Oman cricket. So 4 decades of cricket in Oman. How it all started, we started playing, there were different grounds. The Ministry of Defense in Lusail, also at the MAM camp, had 2 grounds. We then had another ground in Oman Aviation. We then had another ground in the Sultan Qaboos University out there, but all again very barren, very brown fields with a concrete strip. As we grew, what do? We grew. We had more teams. We added more teams. There were various divisions, and we started doing it. How did we get the funds to do it? Well, every team who wanted to participate in the league had to pay an entrance fee, and this entrance fee was taken into the league, and we paid for the ground upkeep, and we paid for the umpires, and we paid for the end of the year celebrations, etc. So a few sponsors who celebrated every league, the Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, and as we grew, we started doing it. Now you'll be surprised, we now have 9 divisions in which about 7 to 8 teams participate. So 85 teams currently participate in the Oman Cricket League. 34 teams participate in the schools competition, and about 8 teams are only women, about 4 teams are only women teams as well. And out of the 85 teams, you'll be surprised, there are 8 teams which are all Omani teams. So we have an Omani contingent, a national players who play the cricket game over here as well. Close to about 350, 400 players in the Omanis nationals who are playing cricket. Why are they playing cricket? Well, they've learned it when they went to study in the subcontinent, etc. And they're really interested in it. And they've seen their parents play, they've seen their friends play, they've seen the Asians in the neighborhood play, and they join in and they play. So it's very popular in Mabila. There is a little cricket ground, a green cricket ground in Mabila, run by a very dear friend. His name is Mola Baksh. And you know, he's done a very good job of that as well. So coming back to cricket. So we have a league. We have a huge following in Oman. Close to about 3,000 people are registered cricket players within the Oman Cricket League. Let me take you through a presentation. I have 3 little videos, and I have about 15, 20 slides, which you will see. It takes me no more than about 30 minutes to do it. I'll be happy to take questions, hopefully none, as we finish, because you would have been given a good glimpse and understanding of cricket Oman. Okay. So welcome to Oman Cricket. And I particularly mentioned the word success because I truly believe that Oman Cricket has achieved much, and especially in the last decade. And let me take you through it. Let me share with you the certain screen formats. So I'm going to start you off with a video where 2 years ago, the World Cup of cricket toured the globe in every cricket playing nation. And just to give you a glimpse, the cricket nation, there are 105 to 107 cricket playing nations in the world, which are members of the ICC. The ICC is not the International Criminal Court. ICC is the International Cricket Council. It shares the same name, the same analogy, but here we are. So Oman became the 38th associate nation of the ICC about 7 years ago. But Here's the video which will show you the arrival of the World Cup of Cricket in Oman, the first country in which it was brought in from its headquarters in Dubai. So here we go. Here we see it. Oops. Buffering. No. Good. So what you saw over there was a little glimpse of the ground, the infrastructure, which has been created in the last 7 years, 8 years. But let me be pay a lot of gratitude to our patron, His Majesty Sultan Haytham. Oman cricket has, from the very inception, has had a royal patronage. Our first patron, way back in 1979, was 77, 75, was Sayyid Abbas, followed by Sayyid Shabib, His Highness Sayyid Shabib bin Taimur, and now we have, for the last 20 years plus, we've had Sultan Haytham as our patron in chief. God bless him. We're very, very grateful for their patronage, for their support, for their benevolence towards promoting cricket in Oman. And, I can't thank them enough. Over here, we have some photographs of the World Cup with His Majesty, when we also signed an agreement of technical partnership with the Lord's Cricket Ground, which is supposed to be the Mecca of cricket in England, where they said that they would help us in putting up a program of promotion of cricket in Oman. His Royal Highness Prince Andrew was here at the time, and we made sure that we signed the agreement with the Lord's Cricket Ground, the MCC, the Marylebone Cricket Club, and we did that 2 years ago. Next, we have what happened. So Oman became the first affiliate. Oman became an affiliate member with the ICC way back in 2000, which is exactly 20 years ago. In 2005, we played a few qualifiers. We were joint winners in 2007 with Afghanistan in the second rung, on the third rung of teams in the international global cricket kind of series. It is only after we became the associate member. So membership is divided into three at the World Cricket stage. You have the full members, which are the top 10 members. Then you have the associate members, which are the next 30 teams. And then you have the affiliate members, who are various fringe countries from all around the world. So Oman became an associate member after having played well and demonstrated its skill in 2014. And then came our first reckoning. In 2015, we played about 14 teams were invited to play the qualifiers of the World Cup, and 6 teams would qualify. Oman was ranked number 14 in that qualifier, and we came 6th. So we actually qualified for the World Cup in 2016, and Oman played the World Cup there. Very proud, very thing. We were then in the World Cup. The ICC also then divided the rest of the 30 teams into various divisions: WCL 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Oman started off at WCL 5, and we're now in WCL 2, which is we're within the top 20 ranked playing countries in the world. So then we got our status. How do we get a status? We get an international status so long as you're within the top 20, top 25 playing countries. So we got a World Cup T20 status in 2015, which is the shortest form of cricket. And then we also got in 2019 the ODI status, which is fantastic, for which we qualified for the World Cup in Australia this October. Unfortunately, the World Cup has been postponed by 1 year, and it'll be played next year now. So as much as we were looking forward to a World Cup participation for the first time in the ODI status this year, we'll have to wait for a little longer. But that's the way the world has changed over the last few years. So what do we have? So we started playing cricket at various grounds in Amarat, in Seeb, in the Oman Automobile Club grounds. And this is how they were, browns with green astroturf to make it just simulate the so-called the feeling of playing cricket on grass. We got our first allocation of the ground about 10 years ago in Amarat when Oman Ministry of Sports were very benevolent in giving us a large chunk of land to build approximately 2 full grounds. And with His Majesty Sultan Haytham then being our patron-in-chief, and still is, we were able to kind of say, okay, we will now develop the ground and we will start developing various infrastructure. So we started doing this and we started benefiting from seeing. So this is how it was. We divided first, we had the first ground to the left in the top left-hand picture that you see. We made it green. And then came when we positioned the floodlights, which made that we could play in the evening as well. And then 2 years later, we added the second ground, and to the bottom right, we also see the practice facility. So we now have a very beautiful green. In 2015, we wrote to His Majesty saying, glorious cricket needs to develop in Oman. We are developing, we're reaching peaks, but we're not making it amongst the top 20 because we don't have infrastructure to train our players, to physically build up a team to play at international level. His Majesty was so kind, and he gave us a very sizable chunk of money to develop a cricket infrastructure, not just for the national team, but also to develop cricket at grassroots level across the community, amongst the local community and local schools as well. And I'll highlight that as we go on further. So we have ground number 1 with floodlights, we have dressing rooms with things, and we'll show you. And then in 2018, for the National Day celebrations, we inaugurated the ground. We had, again, laid the foundation. We laid the plaque, we unveiled the plaque, and we had members from the international cricket community who came over here to inaugurate the ground as well. So we're very fortunate with that development. So here's a very, very beautiful building that has come up, which showcases not just Oman cricket, but puts Oman cricket on the global cricketing map as well. What do we have inside? We have a gym, we have a restaurant, we have coffee shops, we have dressing rooms, of course, for the players, we have players' facilities, we have our balcony, we have a long room upstairs ourselves, and various other facilities. But more importantly, we have a very, very advanced indoor facility for the academy. And this is basically to help people play the game at night and during the summer months when it's difficult to play the cricket in the outdoors. It also helps the teams to build their own confidence, to build their own aptitude towards cricket, and also the children to come play in a more safer environment indoors. We have practice facilities outside as well for teams which are visiting. And how has the infrastructure really helped us? Let me share with you. In the last 3 years, we've probably brought in an income not only to the club but to the country, close to about $500,000 because of the number of teams we've hosted, international teams who've come and used Oman as a venue to get acclimatized and build their team before their own season starts in Europe. So we've had European teams, we've had teams from USA, we've had teams from Namibia, from Africa, who've come in and camped in Oman to really build their pre-season build-up. So what happens when they come? When they come, they hire rooms in hotels. They use our flights, they use our airports, they use our transport infrastructure. They go around sightseeing in the country. So the amount of spin-off benefit that the country gets when we invite teams to come and use Oman as a hub for their build-up is fantastic. What does Oman cricket have at the moment? So there are 7 all-Omani teams, 76 senior teams, 35 junior teams. Can you imagine? I mean, I don't think there is any other sport in Oman which has an inter-school tournament like the one that we have in Oman. And there are 35 teams who play on a Wednesday and a Thursday evening under floodlights over here on the green grounds. We have close to 200 ethnic Omani players who are playing the game. And we insist that every team in the Oman Cricket League should have at least one Omani player in each one of them. So that's the way we've actually built the national interest into the team as well. We have a national youth development team. What is a youth development team? This is the team in which we have both national Omanis and expatriates from schools between the age groups of 16 to 21, who come in and play, and they mix up together, and we build their bench strength. And these are the players who will get into the national team going forward over the next play. So we started with 80% Omanis in this team and 20% expats. And I'm very proud to say that about 4 to 5 players of the current national team have come up and grown within the ranks of the national youth development team, 2 of which are nationals, 1 in the playing 13 as well. Junior cricket. So what have we done? The idea was that Oman Cricket Academy should engage the local schools with the help of Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Sports to engage cricketers from the communities in the surrounding areas. So we went and signed up a deal with the Ministry of Education to have 9 schools to register as within the Oman Cricket Academy for letting their children to come and play cricket here. And we would send our coaches to the schools after school to do cricket twice a week as an extracurricular curriculum. So we have very proud that we started our last season last year. Unfortunately, got disrupted because of this pandemic, but we're hoping to start very soon. And we're very happy that we've got about 25 enrolled children who come regularly, boys and girls, in the age category of about 10 to 11, who come and play cricket at the ground, and we go and teach them at the school as well in Amra. Here they are. Here are the glimpses of some of them coming in. We've got qualified coaches who do that. Now, what do we do every year? We also recognize Omani players within the community who play the league cricket, and we've got some very talented boys. Unfortunately, they're getting older. We're hoping that the young players will come up and grow in this team. The national team success. Here we are. This is the national team. What has the national team done? So 7 years ago, we were ranked 28th in the world, which means that we were not even amongst the top 2 divisions. We're ranked number 13. In 2015, we played in the qualifying rounds of the World Cup T20, and we came 6th. And we went on to play the World Cup in India. And here's a little glimpse of what happened. So basically, what we have is that the team has been built of people who live and work in Oman. We are rank amateurs. We are not professionals. Every member of my team, national team player, is a working member of the community. They have a 9-to-5 job, and they come in the evening. We bring them in at 5 o'clock in the morning for fitness, and then they come in the evening after work, and they do their practice and the team building exercises. We have a superb support team headed by Dilip Mendes, who's our Chief Development Officer and the national team coach, who has been Sri Lankan cricket captain, CEO of Sri Lankan cricket, coach of the World Cup winning side, Sri Lanka, in the 90s. So we're very proud and privileged to have him over here. With him, we have Mazhar, we have Sean, we have Everett, we have Z, and a lot of office staff and ground staff who really make things so much more possible for the Oman cricket to thrive and Oman national team to thrive under these circumstances. So we've been traveling the world now. Where does Oman go from here? We'll show you a little bit over here as well. So here we go. In 2014, we were fifth place, but we were relegated to Division 5. We stayed in Division 5. In 2016, we started building, and we went from 4 to 3 to 2. We're the fastest developing cricket nation in global cricket in the last 5 years. We've gone up from rank 25 to rank 13 in under 5 years. I don't think there is any other country in the world who's done that. So very proud of this Oman cricket. So what sort of a support system do we have as well? And where do we go from here? So we're right now playing a series of triangulars between the next, from rank number 13 to 20. 7 countries playing a series of triangulars over the next 30 months. We will end by 2022 sometime, and we will, once we finish the triangular series, based on our ranking, we'll qualify for the bigger format of the World Cup, which is going to happen in 2023, again in India. So we're hoping that we will make it to that. We're hoping that we will play. We're playing against the likes of UAE, Namibia, Nepal, Ireland, Netherlands, Hong Kong, Scotland, and Papua New Guinea. So these are the competitive teams that we're playing against. Let me highlight that amongst the top 20 nations, there are only 2 nations which have not been Commonwealth countries, Oman and Afghanistan. And I'm very proud to say that though not being a Commonwealth country, we've actually been playing cricket, a non-Commonwealth sport in this thing. We've adapted sport in this country. So very proud of that. So here's the global ranking charts. We're ranked number 18th in the T20 format, but I'm sure we actually are much better than our ranking states. We are probably amongst the top 15 for sure, because we're beating Scotland, Netherlands, Nepal, UAE, and Ireland on a regular basis, especially in the last 12 months. We're ranked number 13 in the world in the longer format, which is the ODI, which is great. I mean, I can't ask for more. I'd never, if you had asked me 5 years ago, Pankaj, would you have been ranked amongst the top 15 countries in the world? I would have said it's a dream, but today is a dream come true. Here are the individuals who've made Oman proud over the years. We have Aqib Ilyas, who's a local boy who went to school locally in Oman, came through the under 13, under 16, under 19 cricket teams, and has now been one of the top performers in Oman cricket. Khabar Ali, who's from Enhance, works for Enhance. He works there. Bilal Khan, part of the Passage to India group, the best bowler, ranked very highly amongst the global cricket scenario as well. Zeshan Maqsood, our captain, ranked number 9 as an all-rounder in the world cricket at T20 level. And Jatinder Singh, again, a local boy who went to school, is a merchandiser in a supermarket and in the distribution trade, ranked number 49th in the world in the batting order. Now that is the highest kind of thing we can get. So very proud of my boys. What do? We have very, very conscious physical training, mental strength. We have sports medicine now as a full-time profession, a vocation within the academy. We have sports psychologists that who come in once in a while and work on their minds and on their fitness, mental fitness. We have a lot of off-season programs. We tour overseas. We invite teams to come play from overseas. How do we reward the players? So the players are sponsored by their corporate teams. We give them an allowance. It's a contractual allowance. We make sure that part of the income we get from the International Cricket Conference goes towards their benefit, and we work towards that as well. We also have a scholarship scheme that is for young cricketers who come up the under 13, under 16, under 19, to retain them in the country. Because what happens generally is that as soon as the young cricketers, they graduate from their high school, they run to their home countries, to their domestic, and play cricket over there. So whilst we have groomed them and built them into the system, we can't retain them here. So we've now tried to give them a squad scholarship, a university scholarship in Muscat, the Muscat University, along with Muscat University. Thank you them, and see whether we can retain them. We haven't yet enrolled even one, but hopefully we will do so in the near future. Revenue. How do we get our revenue? That's the most important thing. Let me again also say that we have a board. A board is elected every 3 years, every 4 years, and we are under the patronage of the Ministry of Sports. We are governed by them. We follow their guidelines in terms of the Constitution and in terms of governance. Our revenue is self-generated. Bulk of our revenue comes from ICC and it's based on the qualification that we have. If we go down in rank, we go down in the revenue that we receive from ICC as well. It's a balance. It's a scorecard. So if we do not perform well, we don't get enough grants. If we perform well, the higher the grant we get. Similarly, if we have enough teams in the league participation fees also account for our income. To give you a glimpse, we have approximately 900,000 riyals of income. 1/3 of it comes from local team registrations. 2/3 of it comes from our recognition by the International Cricket Council and the Asian Cricket Council. So we're very thankful, grateful to the International Cricket Council and the Asian Cricket Council for their benevolence in making sure that cricket thrives in this country as well. We have zero debt. We manage our own funds. We stay within our means, and we live within our means, and we perform within our means. So very proud that even though we've got little assistance in terms of grants from the Ministry of Sports, we manage our own funds, we manage our own income, and we stay within the means, and we do not have any debt going forward. Ministry of Sports has been extremely magnanimous by giving us the grounds. His Majesty has been extremely magnanimous by giving us the funds to build this academy. But the rest of the funds come from both the participating teams in our leagues, in the domestic league, the 85 of them, and the ICC and the ACC. The last video that I want to show you is basically the highlight of the video, and that's it as far as Cricket Oman is concerned. Before I sign off, I want to say two or three things. Our board takes no board sitting fees, no perks. We don't get any travel allowance. We don't get any pocket allowance. We don't get any stay allowances when we travel with the team. We are totally a non-profit, a not-for-profit institution. I'm extremely proud of my board members for their passion of the game, for passion of developing Oman cricket. And we must highlight this fact that governance is so important. You do not interfere with cricket, you only oversee the running of cricket. And that's what our board believes in. We leave the running of cricket to the technocrats, to the experts, and we let them build teams, build the league system, etc. So the learning goes, when you govern cricket, you govern it. Make sure that you've put in the right people for the right jobs. You are not the cricket expert just because you're a board member. So make sure that you learn this. It applies to business. It applies to every other field as well. Number two, patrons need to have the passion. You don't have the passion, then you start having some other fringe benefits. And cricket is not about fringe benefits. Cricket is about passion. You don't have the passion, you have no room to be here. You've got no reason to be in the cricket governance. So thank you, my board members, for being what you've been. You've been the true patrons, you've been the true passion, the fire behind Oman cricket. Staff support. You need dedicated staff. You need staff who believe in team building. It's not about an individual, it's about the team. Cricket is a team sport. It's a very competitive sport. It needs, again, passion. It needs dedication. It needs commitment. And any cricketer who comes in, it needs to have that flair, that's fire in the belly to say, I'm playing it for the team. And finally, my team. It's all about your players. It's all about them. It's all about how they are looked after. You don't look after them, you don't have a team. You don't have a team, you don't have a rank. You don't have a rank, Oman doesn't qualify. We've qualified, Oman cricket is qualified, is because we look after our players. And it goes for business as well. It goes for everywhere. So the learnings we have over here in cricket apply similarly to the corporate governance programs as well. That bring in the players, look after your teams, look after your players, and cricket will flourish. I hope there's a message out there that I've given. I hope that we've shared enough of thought for people why Oman cricket has achieved what it's achieved. Why is Oman cricket not only a regional powerhouse now, it's made its name in the global cricket scenario. So with that, enjoy this last film. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pankaj.
Thank you, gentlemen. Ladies, it's as you see, Oman cricket has arrived. Oman cricket has made Oman proud, and we are extremely grateful for all the support that we received from friends, from patrons, from board members, from our ACC, ICC, Oman Ministry of Sports, and of course, His Majesty Sayyid Haytham, Sultan Haytham, going forward. So with that, Mike, thank you very much. Happy to take any questions if there is any questions to be asked.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pankaj, for this interesting presentation. Now we will we'll start the Q&A session. Kindly keep your audio muted and use the raise hand option or type Q in the chat. With Mr. Simon.
Sorry, did you ask me to come in?
Yes, Mr. Simon.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. Pankaj. I have some information to you first. Your presentation broke 2 records in our Majlis. In the number of participants, this is the highest number we've reached so far. And in the time of presentation, it's the shortest presentation, which took us right to the point. With 2 bits of information, I have a major question to ask you and 2 minor questions. The game is, for me, ignorant in cricket. My children love cricket. I never managed to understand the rules. To me, they are very complicated. And therefore, my question, Is it the British who brought this game to India to make their life more complex? Or is it the Indian who exported it to England in retaliation of the colonization period? And it is so complicated, LBG and LDF, and it's very complicated. So I need an answer for that. The second thing is, it's definitely a success story. I mean, you know, me in particular, I learned to be modest by the Omanis in Oman. But it is a great success story. So the question is, why can't we have a repeat in other sports in the country? Why isn't tennis like that? And we have an association, I don't expect you to answer all these questions, Pankaj, but just to brainstorm. And finally, I don't think the TV and media in Oman are being fair to your academy and to your association, to be honest with you. What's the reason? I don't know. I mean, such a success should be known even in Khimji, where I come from. You would not know where Khimji is. It is in Jaluni, a little village where I come from, you know, in the Harasis area. So thank you very much. Thank you, really. And I like the hat very much. Can I have one like yours sometimes?
It's yours. I will make sure that this is handed over to you in great splendor.
Thank you. What a lovely relief in this session. Thank you, Pankaj. Thank you so much.
Simon, you've been very kind. At the same time, you bowled a googly bowl to me, saying that whether is it Britain which took the cricket to India, or is it India who kind of did the odds on England for doing what they did in India? Well, the answer is very simple. The British invented cricket. It was invented in Regent's Park area, where the Lord's Cricket Ground stands. It's about 220 years old since the first cricket ball was bowled. And yes, England took the game to India, and India is now showing the world how cricket should be broadcasted and sponsored and played and patronized. As far as other sports in Oman, I think there's one thing that really differentiates Oman cricket from other sports, and to an extent, I can't put a finger on any one particular point. The thing is that you need to stay amateur and behave amateur if you want to grow. As you rightly said, Oman really shows you what humility is and what passion is. You need to have passion for the sport. You need to have the like-mindedness within the leadership to grow the sport. And you need to have sport cannot be made a commercial thing from day one. Sport will eventually generate commerce. But if you think that sports will generate commerce from day one, or sport should be made commercial from day one, or self-sustaining from day one, that's a wrong understanding. Another thing, there is no room for non-passionate people to stay patrons of the sport. The particular sport needs to be governed, needs to be moderated by the actual passionate people. You don't have that, we can't do it. God help Oman cricket if likes of Madhu and the likes of that were not there. I mean, these people live and die for cricket, and we need such characters in the game. And we need such patronage in the game. My father, he hasn't stepped out of his house for 4 months since the day pandemic was dead, but he's coming here today. He won't step out of the car, but he wants to do a tour of the ground. You need such characters to be playing. We have our vice chairman, Said Qais. He played the game. He played Oman. We need those people. And I think the same applies to every other sport. You need sportsmen to lead from the front.
Can I come in here, and not make a comment, re-highlight a very important thing that you said about this topic, which is governance and management, and taking care of the players. You see the passion. If you take football, I've never seen more passion than when we won the GCC Cup in football.
Exactly.
Even, I've seen such a passion also and drive when we had Gonu, where everybody went on their own. The latent passion is in every one of us, Omani.
Yes.
But what is it that takes it out? You know, His Majesty, God rest his soul, he spoke 3 minutes from Germany and the whole country was burning. What amazes me in Oman, the passion is there. How to get it out? Maybe taking care of the players, which you highlighted, it's essential. Governance is essential. And thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's it.
See, because we have the facilities, huh? We have all the sports. If you we have stadiums in Sohar, stadium in Nizwa, stadium in Sur, stadium in Salala. The infrastructure is there. The underlying passion is there. Now, how to put all these elements together and become champion of the world in UEFA or something. You know?
I hope so, one day. But I think, let me just highlight one thing. We need to make sure the most important part about any sporting organization are the sportsmen themselves. Now, if we forget that and we start suddenly saying that, no, the board, the chairman, the vice chairman, the so-called thing, if they start highlighting them first, then we've lost the plot. What needs to happen is that we need to highlight the players. We need to give them and get them in the forefront, and then the cricket will, the sports will take care of itself, and that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Would you like to add anything before we start taking the questions, please?
Yeah, thank you, Reham. Thank you, Mr. Pankaj. That was really super presentation, and thank you, Mr. Khalil, for this opportunity again. So I want to build pretty much on what Simon was saying, because number one, thank goodness the British did bring cricket here, but actually that was a long time ago, and most of us have forgotten that. And today's story, and the story of the last 20, 30 years, is about people like you, absolutely the players. On one occasion, maybe 10 years ago, I stood at the wicket as Karwa Ali thundered down and bowled at me. I lasted 3 balls before my bails exploded. I was terrified. What I've seen is in this country with Bilal Khan, Jatinder Singh, Sijan, but we have some remarkable sports people. I've seen the women playing as well, young Indian ladies, and they're fierce. Thank goodness I haven't been on a wicket facing any of their bowling either. I fortunately remain alive, and my comments are, as I took my notes through your presentation, I see so many opportunities of learning for what we're trying to do in Oman as an economy and as a community through initiatives like PPP. In Oman cricket, you've had patronage at the very highest level. You've had support from right across the business sector. You've had participants from Omanis, expatriates, all of us combining to give rankings like 13th in the world, something superb. We have another sport in Oman that has achieved in their field equal excellence, Oman Sail.
Yes.
And frankly, and they've been the best, they may well be the best in the world today, but they have certainly been the best in the world for a few years ago. And our Oman football team, it's with pride that we support them and watch them in the GCC competitions. So my point, building from what Simon was saying and the excellent platform that you've given us, is what is it that we can do to help all of us in the community of business to energize, to be passionate, to lift and to excel in Oman, but for our region, our Indian Ocean Rim countries, in the same way that we seem skilled and capable to do through cricket, through sailing, through football. I mean, the dream run it continues. It's got to be Yellow Oman. Pankaj, what do we do?
I just have one thing, and I believe in it, and I say that you want to excel in anything. Your biggest asset has got to be your people. In sports, your biggest asset has got to be your participants. And number two is got to be your support team. So you may have enthusiastic participants, but without the right support, they will not perform. Or you may have the right support team, and you don't have enthusiastic participants or committed participants or dedicated participants, you will not survive. So these two are the essential ingredients of a success in sport. And then you need one particular chapter, one particular segment, which is the board. That board needs to be dedicated and passionate towards the sport and not towards themselves. So what we need is hiring the best to train the best.
That's a good point.
So no compromises. With Oman Sale, we saw that when you had a team that were giving the best out of training, we trained 40,000 people, 40,000 young students across Oman were trained to sail.
Yeah.
Fantastic achievement. Can we do the same thing with football and hockey? We need to revive those sports. And we need to bring sports at the school level, which is not being encouraged at the moment or not being pursued at the moment. I think we need more sports at schools level, because sports really brings about the best attitude in any human.
Thank you. Thank you very much again, Mr. Pankaj.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pankaj, Mr. Mike. We'll take the next question from Mr. Irvin. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so this is Arun from India. Pankaj, Mr. Pankaj, it's a significant achievement with a country being even population less than 50 lakhs. Being in the top 15 is a significant achievement. Having said that, my question is, I have two interconnected questions. So, what has Oman Cricket Association set any target? Any deadline, a long-term target to make the cricket more indigenous, similar to Papua New Guinea or Nepal. So Nepal, no wonder they share the borders and culture with India. So Papua New Guinea model is an excellent model where they have an indigenous population playing cricket in the country, and yet they have managed to come into the top 20 in the world. So what are the drastic steps that are being taken to make? It's absolutely brilliant. I got to know only today that there are 8 indigenous teams in club teams in Oman. So question number 1 is that. So question number 2 is similarly, what are the steps taken to promote Oman to the next level, that is test cricket? So what is the improvements made in the domestic cricket when it comes to the longer format, the 3-day format or the 4-day format, so that Oman can get a test status probably in another decade or so? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Arvind. I'll answer your first question. I think what is very imperative for me and for Oman cricket right now is that we need to develop cricket at grassroots. The best examples I have seen is basically Thailand and PNG, as you mentioned. Thailand has grown such leaps and bounds. There are probably about 20,000 people playing cricket in Thailand. Would you imagine? In the smallest of islands of Thailand, etc. So we've got to take a leaf out of that book. What have we done for that? We have now signed up with the Ministry of Education to see whether we can go and coach in the local government schools cricket for children at the age groups of 9 to 11. So we're trying to do that. We were very much looking forward to unveil this program this year, but the pandemic has put a little, I hope it's only a temporary hold to the procedure. But I hope that, let's say in about another 5 to 10 years, I would expect about 2,000 to 3,000 locals playing cricket in Oman, and children playing cricket and growing up and becoming into the under 13, under 16, under 19 teams. So that's our goal as Oman Cricket Board is concerned. Your second question, vis-a-vis, was to do with just name it again.
Test cricket? I mean, the longest
Test
format
cricket.
of.
We have no dreams and pursuits of pursuing Test cricket at the moment. Our domestic cricket is a day cricket and a shorter form of cricket, and that is what we'll build on. You must appreciate that all of us are amateurs. We have no professional cricketers per se over here, and until such time we do not turn this game into locals playing professional cricket, it's pointless to kind of start pursuing the longer format. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Next.
Thank you. The next question is from Mr. Harry.
Yes, good morning, sirs. My question to Mr. Pankaj. Thank you for presentation, wonderful presentation. We all enjoyed, and we came to know that so many facts about Oman cricket. And my question is, major cricket is happening in Muscat. So we had the plans to spread the cricket around Oman. We tried Salalah and Sohar. So any future plans to spread cricket in like Sur or Niswa, because we have got so much of hidden talents all over the Oman. So if you spread the cricket around the country, so we get more players. And like India or Pakistan, we have the provinces like cricket. Any plan? And we would like to hear from Mr. Pankaj. Over to you.
Thank you very much. It's a very valid question. There is, I would imagine there is as much cricket being played between Salalah, Sur, Sohar, Nizwa, and Ibri in Oman as there is in Muscat alone. So if we have, say, 3,000 cricketers actively playing cricket, registered cricket in Oman, we think there are as many as 3,000 playing in those counties as well. So yes, we started Salalah cricket 3 years ago. We are intending to start Sohar cricket this year. We think we've got our hands on the ground given to us by the Sohar municipality. Very grateful to them. We have identified and have had discussions, 2 rounds of discussions with the Nizwa sports people to pursue a cricket ground in Nizwa as well. So hopefully this September through to November, we will have both Sohar and Nizwa starting cricket. And we will pursue this in Sur and other places as well. You're absolutely right, what you said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next question is from Mr. Paul. Please go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I'm a person who came to Omani cricket from 2011. I've been following it ever since. I've had the privilege of being able to write about it for Wisden. My question is about the next 10 years as far as the team's concerned. I'm very, very aware of the school's development, and I'm very, very aware of the amazing amount of great players you've got in your one-day side and your T20 side. Are you confident that you can maintain that level of development over the next 10 years while the younger people come through? I'm very conscious of the fact that some of the guys I've watched for the last decade are starting to get a little on the creaky side. Do you have the players coming through in the kind of 16 to 23 age that will continue that movement until you get the grassroots development operating?
Paul, that's a very, very valid question. I keep questioning myself whether will we see more cricket and competitive cricket the way we've been seeing in the last 5 years. I can assure you that we are more excited about our next 20 players on the bench strength than we are about our current players. We're very proud of our current achievements, but we are more excited about our future 20. And let me assure you, I don't want to say the word that you haven't seen anything yet. I'm very proud of everything we've demonstrated and everything we've done so far. But I think, yes, we have enough bench strength coming forward. In fact, we've got a lot of young talent coming forward. And I think they need a lot of sharpening, a lot of grooming, a lot of pruning. And with the kind of support team that we have, we are absolutely confident that we will maintain the level of cricket we've shown so far. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll take another question from Mr.
Anselm.
Sorry.
Anselm? Whoever.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I am Anselm Pereira, ex-HSB, BBME and HSBC, and now BPOS Global. Pankaj, thank you very much for that very well articulated and concise way that you presented the glorious history of cricket in Oman. The topic of this seminar was evolution of cricket and its success story. It is my belief that when one speaks of Oman cricket, one cannot miss the role played by cricket lovers in Doha.
In Salalah, absolutely, Amslam.
Salalah.
You
Yes.
were the embodied person on there.
Yeah. The Doha Cricket Association played a vital role in developing cricket in Oman since late 70s. I believe that there are only two people left in Oman to relate the history of cricket in Doha. That is His Excellency Said Nasser Al-Kusebi and yours truly. In 1978, there was a gentleman called George Boyd who came as a manager of BBME Salalah. He was like the Khimji family, like Kanakbai, Pankaj and his family. He was an avid cricketer who had played county cricket in the UK. He's in my balance scorecard. One item was start cricket in Salalah. So we both of us got together and formed the Doha Cricket Association in Salalah in late 79. And he became the first, the chairman of of DCA. And once he left Oman, late Murad Dosa, he was a manager of Khimji Ramadas. So Khimji Ramadas was even involved. It was Kanakba even at that stage with cricket in Salalah as well. But unfortunately, he had a very tragic and untimely death. And with that, it was the vacancy was filled by Harry Murphy of the chief engineer of MODED. After Harry left, yours truly again, I took over the chairmanship in August 1983 from me. Nick Monk of Oman United Agencies Salalah took over. Then I moved, I think until 2004, they continued. But after that, it died a natural death. I will tell why it was. But however, our annual calendar in Salalah had 30 over league, 20 over knockout, 6-a-side league winners versus the knockout cup winners, and National Day representative 25 over game. The teams consist of BBME, ROP, Diwan, SSF, SAF, Oman, SAF Thamret, Indian Club, Sri Lanka Club, Pakistani Club, NBO, MOD, ED Salalah, MOED Thamret, Caboose Hospital, and Deccan Blues. Our venues were ROP grounds Al Aukat, Khimji Ramadas grounds Dasit, MOD grounds UAE, MOD ED grounds Thamret, Airworks grounds Thamret. And even at that stage, we had a mandatory requirement to play one Omani player in each team. Then the curtain came down after season, cricketing season, with the award ceremony. Our benefactors were even at that time Khimji Ramadas, BBME, Cold Storage and Trading Spinneys, Sawavi Trading, Airworks Salalah, MOD ED Salalah. Unfortunately, in 2004, the activities of the DCA gradually came to a halt due to DCA being unable to adhere to some of the government regulations and laws reoperating of the clubs and association. I am delighted and I am very grateful to note that in 2018, thanks to Oman Cricket, we have the good news of cricketing activities resuming in Doha region. I have noted that there had been very well arranged award ceremonies. With this note, my intention is to fill the gap in the cricketing history of Oman pertaining to Doha region up to the time I left Salalah. This is nothing compared to the success story of cricket in Muscat and capital area. This is a drop in the ocean. My dream is that one day there should be at least one Dofari from Salalah representing cricket in for the national team, because Dofa is a sizable region, and even in late 70s we had cricket activities there. But again, now it has resumed.
Reham, could you ask the next speaker, please?
Now, a small comment, Mike, if you don't mind.
Certainly.
Yeah, Pankaj, a third record has been broken now. It is the longest question ever. Mr. Anselm brought to Majlis. So three records broken today.
Reham, over to you, please.
Yes. We'll take the next question from Mr. Sirivan Bas. Wrong pronunciation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Pankaj. It was a wonderful presentation. I'm so proud to be associated with Oman for more than 34 years. It's been a wonderful journey for me too. I have a question for you. World Cup levels. When do you think we'll be able to host the test playing nations ODI and T20 tournaments? We are looking forward to that. I remember 10 years ago, this was a dream for us to have a green ground, take part in international tournaments. And today we are there right now on number 13. The next step is to start hosting international tournaments here. The test playing nation tournaments.
Trini, you've asked a wonderful question. As much as it would be a privilege and a complete pride to host a test playing nation to come and play in Oman. It's like saying that will Brazil and Argentina ever come and play international in Oman in football? We are minnows in every sense of the word, but at the same time we are amateur professionals or professional amateurs. Our grounds are well certified. I believe that my infrastructure or our infrastructure, and I call Oman cricket my Oman cricket, and that's why I get carried away. We have infrastructure which is probably as good as anyone else's. The only thing we don't have is stands and public kind of seating, etc. But nothing stopping us from hosting an international game. Test match may not be hosted, but I think it's not too far before we get to host at least one-day international, or an IPL or the Middle East Cricket League or something of that sort. So I'm sure in the next 3 to 4 years we'll see some good international cricket being played in Oman as well, on a commercial level. I hope so.
Thank you very much. We would like to hear more from our guests. We'll take next Mr. Nick.
Did you say from me?
Yes, Mr. Nick.
Well, yeah, I've got a couple of questions. I was keeping out of the way, really. One is a trivial question. How long does a ball last on a concrete pitch?
Nick, how long does a ball last?
Yeah, on a concrete pitch.
Less than 15 overs, 10 overs. But
Okay.
we don't have concrete pitches anymore, but we do have.
No, I know.
We have brown earth outside. It's the brown earth that does more damage to a cricket ball than does the concrete pitch. So we actually provide 2 white balls on a 20-over game to most teams, and that's how much it will last. If we play a 50-over game, they probably will need 2 white balls in each innings.
Is that part of the international rules? I guess it isn't, is it?
No, there's no international rules for brown cricket being played on brown grounds, on concrete wickets.
One other quick question. Sorry.
Pardon?
One other quick question.
Yeah.
Your wonderful grounds, and they do look truly wonderful. I saw them 3 years ago and they're transformed. But are they full first-class cricket size?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All the grounds that we play on in Oman are ICC kind of sized grounds. They're not in any way below standards in terms of the size is concerned.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like also to listen from Mr. Alkesh Joshi.
So I think that was a wonderful presentation, Pankaj bhai. Of course, as what we've been, promoting, the game in the country, this pandemic has certainly put a bit of a, spook in the overall program. When do you think cricket is likely to resume? And what would be the real first activity that you would like to see on the cricket ground?
By the way, this is Alkesh Joshi, is the advisor to Oman Cricket. We have 4 advisors, very competent cricket patrons and passionate people for cricket. Alkesh has again asked a question which is very, I would expect that cricket will start by end September. Hopefully there will not be any delay. I'm praying as much as you are that cricket resumes. What is the first activity that I'd like to see? I'd love to see the Patron and Chiefs 11 playing against the side that we'll form, and we'll make sure we beat them. But yes, I'd love to see a festival game being played on the ground with either girls and young boys, or the patrons and any other distinguished side. So hopefully I'll get Paul Sheridan to get his team sharpened up in time for a game. But yes, there is a lot of passion left in that game, and we hope to play some good cricket over the season. We are ready as Oman Cricket. We are extremely ready. If only I could show you the ground outside. It's never looked better in terms of its greenness and in terms of its spectacularness. So, yeah, thank you. Hoping and praying. September.
Thank you very much. Next is Mr. Kiran.
I think we'll leave it at 2 because it gets to, by then it'll be by 12:30, and I think that we've had enough cricket for the day.
Yes, sure. Any comment, Mr. Kiran? Okay, we'll move to Mr. Khalil Al-Khonji. Summarize.
Thank you very much, Pankaj. Thanks to all our guests today at Majlis Al-Khonji. Pankaj, I'm glad that I invited you today so we can raise more awareness of the cricket in the country, and also the awareness of the whole world that Oman is among the cricket team. I have 3 sons, but they are all, they are good football player. But unfortunately, none of them, playing cricket. I have a daughter. She has established a basketball academy here in Oman. And I hope that one day I will, very soon, of course, it's only half an hour from here, so we can come as a family and visit your playground. And thank you again for the presentation.
It'll be a pleasure and privilege, Chairman, to host you here and any other members of the Majlis Khonji. For those people who've never attended a Majlis Khonji event, my cricket patrons, my cricket followers, and cricket friends of Oman Cricket, please attend the Majlis Khonji sessions on Saturdays. They are a great knowledge sharing platform. It's topical, it's non-political, it's a brilliant way to kind of to share various attributes, various features of what's happening in and around Oman. So please join in. Thank you very much, Khalil. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everyone else who attended the session today.
Well done, Pankaj.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you for a fantastic presentation.
Well done. It was wonderful. Wonderful.
All the best for Oman Cricket.
Leave meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pankaj. Thank you all.
Thank you, Pankaj. Very well done.
Very good. Thanks. All the best.
Thank you.
I would have liked to mention something about the introduction of cricket in the schools.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Pankaj, and all are welcome to Oman Cricket. One day we will gather there. I hope so. It's September, I believe. Thank you.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
Thank you all, guys. Pankaj, Madhu, and rest of the board.
Thank you, Pankaj and the team. All the best.
Thank you, Pankaj, Madhu, and the team for the great presentation. Well done.
Well done, sir. Well done. Thank you. Excellent.
Well done, Pankaj.
Pankaj, well done. Well done. Alan, sir. Very good.
Thank you, Pankaj and the team for a fantastic